Because ladies, we know we like some added length, right? Not so girthy though. What's up, cupcakes? I'm Nick, and this is Build Dad Build, a place where we like to get out of our head and into the shop, because it's therapeutic, baby. Today we're using this guy over here, this little fellow right here. This is the F1 by xTool. It is an IR and a Diode Laser. You've probably seen some videos on the F1 extension, and mainly the videos I've seen, people are showing you how to use their jigs in order to do pins and things along those lines. Today what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take you through the steps on how to set up your jig. So how to create a jig from scratch using the measurements of whatever item you're trying to engrave. Now, I apologize if it's a little noisy in the shop. We are doing some work over here on the big laser while this is going on. But let there be noise. Now, let's get into it. All right, what we're looking at here is the F1 extension. Pop this guy open. It's a user manual, but I suggest using the prompts in the software to actually set this up. The extension, which this boy is beefy, like beefy. We've got our connection cable and our Allen wrench, which is what we're gonna need right now. Let's do this. All right, first thing first, we're gonna open up XCS. And of course, there is an update. We're gonna go ahead and download that. Give us just a second, kids. Okay, now we're back in XCS. We're gonna go from laser flat. We wanna pull this down to laser extension, which is gonna show us our added length, because ladies, we know we like some added length, right? Not so girthy though. Okay, and you're gonna get this pop-up right here. This is follow the calibration guide strictly before using the slide extension. Hit go, and we're just basically gonna walk through these steps. Okay, so our first step is to align the right edge of the movable ruler with scale 0 of the slide extension, and then tighten the screw. Slide this in, maybe. Loosen this a little bit, and we're gonna align that directly with 0. Next, we're gonna align the vertical line on the side of the slide extension with the edge of the removable base plate of the xTool F1, and align the side of the side extension with the second line on the base plate. Say what? Okay, so I know that's confusing. What we're doing is we're aligning the vertical line, which is this guy right here, with this line right here. So that's in line, and then we're gonna align this whole piece with the second line. So we're gonna bring it down here, right there. And next we're gonna click to the next step, and we're gonna lock in one of the screws, make sure that that's still aligned. And then we're gonna tighten this screw right here. Don't tighten it all the way, but just get it kind of snug. All right, and then we're gonna slide the slide extension all the way to the other side, and then we're gonna tighten the other one so it's snug like a bug in a big bear hug. It says, move the slide extension to the left or right slightly to align the laser with the middle of the movable ruler. Tighten the left screw, click next, then slide the extension. Okay, so then the slide extension moves automatically. I had to go back and redo this because I didn't focus the laser in the first step. The first step says to focus the laser. All right, okay, so that we're lining that up with this line. We want to tighten this screw now all the way. Okay, now if I click next, I thought I was gonna slide it to the right automatically. What's up, guys? This is Tomorrow Nick coming at you to explain something that I messed up. When I said the extension wasn't moving to the right, that was for a very important reason. And that very important reason is this guy right here. I didn't have this plugged into the unit. So you wanna go ahead, you've got on the right-hand side, left hand if you're behind it. So the right-hand side if you're facing it, you've got this little plug that you wanna plug in. And then this goes into the side of the unit. Okay, when I get to the spot where it says to line it up, it actually moves. What? All right, and once I got that guy lined up, now when I hit next, look at that. It slides to the other side all by itself, and then we can go ahead and get at this screw. So there you go, guys. Learn from my mistakes. Make sure you plug the extension in. I cut this thing to the dimensions of this deal. So this is 4.5 by 17.5. I'm gonna take these little guys. These guys are really nice. Really surprised with the clamps that they use for this. If I can get it in here, hold on. Okay, so these clamps are really nice. They just slide right in. You can twist them down, keep them in place. I'm gonna put the other one on. Then I'm just gonna put this on here. It's gonna line right up there. And then I'm just gonna use the spring-loaded business part of this to bring these guys in and clamp them down. What we're gonna be doing today is we're gonna be engraving these flashlights. I'm gonna be engraving these for my patrons. Since we're doing something for my patrons, I figured in this episode, we're gonna name them all. So in the past, I've given shout outs to my top tier, but this, we're gonna shout everybody out. So first and foremost, we have our top tier or Boilermaker patrons, Andy the Viking, Frank Johnson, Chris Ayers, Patrick James, Reed Means, Steve Mann, and Todd Stewart. So next up, we have our Cask Strength patrons, and that includes Ace, Brian Parati, Brian is new, Cameron G, Dark Hollow, Chris from Dark Hollow Woodshop, Dennis, Clark, Nathan Druin, who is fairly new as well, Philip Urschler, Rich Ferrone, or the LA Hobby Guy, and William Tomlinson. So all of those guys are getting a little treat from the F1, but I did want to shout out the lower tier members. I appreciate them just as much as I do the big dogs. So our next tier would be our single barrel patrons, Atalanta, Chris Williams, Darren Smith, Don Bean, John Herman, John D, Kelvin Kennard, Lori Brown, Mark Backmeyer, Matt Morgan, Nick Everhart, Ricky Boyd, Rocket Rick, Rustic Frank, and Tom Roberts. And to round those out are our $3 patrons. They are shots of whiskey. Includes Crevo Sama, Gen Generator, Laser Mama, Marco Gorgons, I might have butchered that, Stephanie, Techno Funk Boy, Tyler Brewer, and Wicked Makers. Thanks to everybody who has contributed to the channel. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Now, what I am noticing is when I make this thing 17.5 inches, it goes off the workable area. So it looks like we're working with more about 15.5 inches. And I'm gonna hit ignore on that. So it's just gonna ignore this box, but I wanna know where that box is. Remember, we said that these guys are about 3.3 inches. We're gonna go about 3.5, and then we wanna go about 2.5 big. We're gonna say this is, the width is 0.35, and then the height, I'm sorry, is gonna be we said 5, right? 2.25. 25. Okay, so we're gonna bring this guy down here, and then let's go with the whole width of this again. The whole width of this is gonna be 0.845, 845. And then we'll do the height, 2.25 again. Bring this guy down here. And what we wanna do is, I wanna make sure that we're ignoring those big boxes. So let's go ahead and make the orange layer the ignore layer. Select these two, and then we're gonna make an array. Let's just make X columns. And it looks like we can only do up to 10. Now basically what we're gonna do is we're just gonna cut the blue out. I get you guys asking me about settings all the time. Just come to xTool's website, go to, get all this stuff out, go to support, go to material settings. And for this, we're gonna do the F1, so we're gonna click on F1. And then we're gonna go to wood, and we're looking at basswood. We want to cut, looks like 90%, 4 millimeters per second, 1 pass. Okay, so we have our slots cut here, and then what I did is I did end up running, but I ran just a short little guy. I don't know if you guys noticed in the video, rectangulars weren't cutting all the way through the bottom of the deal. So what I did is I ran another one where I just ran a line down here. I don't need this area down here anyway. So this is our jig. So at this point, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna select everything, and I'm gonna put everything on the orange layer, and I'm gonna make them all ignore. And then I'm gonna come through and I'm gonna delete these. We don't need these anymore. Let's do the build dead build image. This is gonna be enormous. I'm gonna bring it down to something small that'll fit on one of these guys. I think I'm gonna make a line here just to line those up. Look at that. Nice. Ball. There we go. All right, hot off the presses. Check those out. So 10 of those took about 8 minutes. So batching stuff out on this thing's phenomenal. For my patrons, when you get these, if they don't work, the batteries are in there backwards, I think, and you just need to pop them out and put them back in. And these things are pretty bright too, man. Check that out. Woo-hoo-hoo. I just want to say thank you to each and every one of my patrons. I really appreciate your support. And if you want to know more about the F1, click this video right here.